All right, swap my culture. Culture swap.
What did we do
bullshit.
this time, Liam?
So, listeners, I said to Ellie that I'm going to deliberately tank this culture swap. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't think anyone would find it half as amusing as I would.
Exactly, yeah.
But let me be clear now, listeners. Just because we don't have a particularly long list of things to do for culture swap doesn't mean that we're going to instantly do anything you suggest if we think that it would be better suited for a different part of the show, such as housekeeping, which is what this should have been.
The problem is, what the listeners want, Liam, is they want us to suffer. That's part of the joy of listening to these sort of podcasts.
Yeah.
Is you want the host to suffer. So if you just get to have your way and put things in housekeeping when you don't want...
No,
because that's not how housekeeping works. Housekeeping isn't me and you watch something together and then talk about it. So what's the point? No one wants to hear our individual thoughts on 50 Shades Darker spoiler-free. They want to hear how we suffered.
Here's the thing. I still suggest things for us to suffer with. Like, the 50 Shades porn parody wasn't me being like, oh, this is going to be a wonderful time for us. Like, they still get us suffering. I'm kind to the listeners like that. It's just...
you aren't.
You're
trying to defend yourself.
No.
You hoped that watching a porno would be better than watching a film.
And I think it was. This is, I think, the first time in Nerd on Nerd history where we have done a culture swap that is a sequel to a previous culture swap.
I disagree.
Go on.
We did all 3 Feast films in a culture swap.
No, we did the first one in a culture swap, and then the 2 and 3 were in a housekeeping. Trust me, it's on YouTube.
You said that so... That sounded like, I don't know, a weird, arrogant, but like, I don't know. I can't explain. Anyway, that's fine. We should have done them as culture swaps.
No, we should not. That would have been awful. Anyway, so yeah, this should have been we should have still synced up and done it on the same housekeeping like we did with the feast, because we did that on a housekeeping because you came over for a weekend.
Yeah, but I don't think that works for housekeeping.
I don't give a fuck. It's better than doing a whole culture
unfortunately, Liam, I'm 50% of the podcast.
Yeah, but so am I.
Give a fuck.
Yeah, but so am I.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So it's a discussion. You don't just get to go, I don't give a fuck. We have to talk these things through. Not on the podcast.
No, we should do it on the podcast.
No.
It would be more interesting.
We're talking about 50 Shades Darker.
Oh, do we have to, though? What?
Who directed it, Liam?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, buddy.
It was a different director to the first one.
James Foley.
Who?
Everyone knows that.
Who was in it?
Dakota Johnson, Jamie Dornan, Eric Johnson, Rita Ora, Luke Grimes, Victor Rasuk, Kim Basinger, Marcia Gay Harden.
Yeah, that was all the important ones.
I can't tell you who any of those people played.
Oh, I can.
I can tell you that Dakota Johnson was
Anastasia
the main lady.
Jamie Dornan was Christian Grey, obviously. Eric Johnson was her dickhead boss, Jack Hyde, who they're clearly setting up to be a villain for the 3rd film. Ridiculous. Eloise Mumford was Kate Kavanagh. I don't know.
Nope.
Wasn't that her friend? She's literally in one scene at the end of the engagement party.
Oh, isn't she also at the beginning? She's the one that's hooking up with his brother.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You had Bella Heathcote, who played Leela, who was the ex.
The submissive.
Yeah.
The ex-submissive.
Yeah. Rita Ora played his sister. Luke Grimes played his brother. Victor Razuk played the photographer guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Kim Basinger was his old dominatrix.
Dominant who sexually abused him.
Yeah. And Marcia Gay Holden was the mum.
Fair enough.
So
Do you want to know a fun fact,
Gay
Liam?
Harden. So.
Do you want a fun fact?
I'd love one.
This film received 9 nominations, including Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Actress, and won 2 for Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel, and Worst Supporting Actress in the 38th Golden Raspberry Awards.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
No.
Would you like to know a fun fact?
Yes. It's not that fun if you have to look one up.
I'm trying to find a really fun fact.
Ooh.
There isn't one.
Good times. Do you want me to tell people the vague plot of this film?
Oh no! Wait! Did you watch the unmasked edition?
No, I couldn't get that on Amazon.
Right, I've got a fun fact then.
Go on.
In the trailer, it shows Anna and Christian shooting pool, but the scene is only present in the unrated version of the film.
Oh, I didn't see them playing pool.
I saw them playing pool.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So they have a game where she's like, "Oh, if I win, you take me to the red room," and he's like, "What happens if I win?" I can't remember, but it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Stupid.
I mean, this whole film is ridiculous and stupid. This film, the plot vaguely is Anna she's now working at her publishing company.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember in the last film how they split up at the end?
Yeah, they like reconcile that within like 5-10 minutes.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, Christian, they're at a photo thing that her mate's thrown. A load of her photos are up, and she's like, "Oh my god, why are all these photos of me on the wall?" And he's like, "Because they're my best photos." And it's a bit weird that he hasn't asked her permission for that.
That's really weird.
Yeah, it's that running theme of, I believe in the first one as well, he is sort of attracted to her.
Yeah, that seems to be the impression.
And then she just blanks that completely.
Well, he's not a millionaire sadomasochist.
Oh, he is now, because bloody Christian buys all those blooming photos of her, doesn't he?
Which is creepy.
Yeah, really creepy.
Like
super fucking creepy.
Imagine if you went to a photo exhibition and just brought a bunch of pictures of your ex.
Yeah,
It's not normal.
fucking weird. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, because I knew it would embarrass you, because I know you so well." And she's like, "I love you, Christian."
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She's got a boss. Her boss is a bit of a creeper.
Yeah.
But not yet, really. He's just sort of a bit like, "Oh, you're hot." He doesn't say that, but that's the implication.
Yeah.
Christian does some bullshit that Christian does, as per usual, like, "Oh, I'm going to buy the company." And she's like, "Well, don't do that, because that's you interfering with my job, and then I'll be sleeping with the boss's boss," which
Does
is
it anyway.
creepy. And then his argument is, "Well, no, it's fine, because I'm actually doing it because I want to get into publishing."
Ridiculous.
That doesn't solve the problem, Christian. You're just giving a reason.
Yeah.
He's a bit like you, Liam.
If I was super rich, maybe, but I'm not. So
Yeah,
disagree.
that's the kind of thing you would do if you were super rich. Except you would also have like put all of Kat's photos up so that you could buy them.
What I would have done is I'd have bought all of the photos and then I'd have put them up in the publishing place where she's just an assistant. Yeah. Nah. It's just there's literally two things I want to talk about in this film. So keep going. And
That's fine. I'll
jump
keep
in when
the
I'm
plot.
interested.
We're spoiling this film, by the way. We're spoiling this film massively. So they're back together. Anna's got some new rules. She doesn't want to live by the submissive rules that she used to live by. They're in a goddamn relationship, and they're going to respect each other in the way that two consenting adults do. Hint: they won't, and their relationship will remain problematic for the entire fucking film. She doesn't want to be a sub anymore. There's going to be no punishments. She wants to touch him. He never lets her touch him. That's his thing.
She can touch him, but not only in certain places. He draws like
that's
essentially a
what I'm saying.
vest.
In the original film,
Yeah.
she was like not allowed to touch him,
Right.
and she's like, "No, if we're going to be in a relationship, I want to touch you." So he gets her to draw a square on him.
It's
on
more
his
like a
chest and
vest,
goes-
isn't it? Like he essentially draws an outline of a vest.
No, it's a square.
Oh, okay.
It's a rectangle on his body.
Right. He's got scars.
But yeah.
Did you see those in the first film?
I think you do,
Okay.
because he's topless in the first film. But yeah, they show a very brief clip at the beginning where his dad is abusing him.
Yeah, I don't care.
So he's got all these abuse marks from being abused. So after making this big statement about how she's not going to be a submissive anymore, they're about to go to a masquerade ball, which me and Liam have both seen in the context of a porn parody of these films. Where he walks into the bathroom,
Yeah.
where she's getting ready,
Yeah.
and says, "Bend over."
Yeah.
She says, I think she does it, but then goes, "You're not putting those in my arse." And then he's like, "Ha ha ha ha, they don't go in your arse." And then she goes, "Oh, okay." And I was like, hold on a minute, Anna. You just had a huge thing about how you're not going to be the submissive. You are immediately being his submissive.
Yeah.
So she puts some balls in her vagina.
Yeah.
They go to a masquerade ball.
Yeah. She loves it.
She loves it. She, of course, my God, she sells for the highest price again, which he pays, or she bids some shit or something. I don't care. It's all more bullshit. Everyone just spends the entirety of the ball coming up to Anna and being like, "You're the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen." All the women are like, "My God, Anna, you're the most beautiful girl in the world."
Yeah.
Then the creepy ex-dominatrix is
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're gonna ruin Christian's life. Oh, you're not good enough for Christian." And she's like, "Well, you're a child abuser.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to listen to you." And the audience are like, "Yeah,
Fair
she should
play.
be in jail."
Yeah.
Then some more bullshit happens. At some point, he's in a helicopter and nearly dies. An ex-submissive.
That scene just seemed like thrown in out of nowhere, right?
What does it happen?
Just ridiculous.
Honestly, I think I glanced away for like a second, where I was like, looked at my phone or something. I looked up and there was a helicopter crashing, and I was like, sorry.
Yeah, he's just there with like some assistant, and it's like, what's going on? And then the helicopter starts going down, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yep. An ex-submissive of of his that has been sort of stalking Anna throughout the film. You've seen her every now and again.
Yeah.
She turns up at Anna's apartment with a gun. Again, we've seen this in the porn parody. Christian stops her killing Anna by, air quotes, dominating her.
How does it all work out in the porn parody?
The same.
Okay.
I think she's about to shoot Anna and then he gets her to kneel down. I can't remember if he then fucks her in the porn parody.
That's what I'm thinking. Did they all have a big threesome?
They might have.
Yeah.
In this, he gets her to kneel, he takes the gun off her,
Yeah.
and then tells Anna to leave the room. I don't know what the implication there is, but gets her to leave the room so he can deal with it.
I think, like, I could be way wrong, but I think it's just he maybe doesn't want her to see that side of him with another person that is submissive, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't care.
That would make sense. It's then like
There's still two things
it.
I want to talk about, and we've not touched on either of them yet.
That's fine. I've got one more paragraph.
Okay.
I've skipped a lot of this. This is the end of the film. They go to his birthday party. The ex-dominatrix lady, who's the abuser, is like, "You're a gold digger. You're not with him because you love him. You just want his money."
Yeah.
Anna's like, "Fuck you." Then the mum turns up. Oh, they've got engaged. Then the mum turns up.
Anna throws her drink on the dominatrix lady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she throws a drink on her. Then the mum turns up. Christian's mum turns up, slaps the ex-dominatrix, and says, "Get out of this party and my house."
Yeah.
And then you see, oh yeah, I missed a whole thing. Then you see her ex-boss standing, staring creepily.
Yeah, because he did try it on with her, and then he got fired over
He
it.
He does attempt to rape her.
Yeah. Well,
then-
no, I don't think
and
he
then-
attempts to rape her, but he definitely stops her from leaving a room and gets a bit gropey.
And says, "You're coming on." Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you need to come on this work holiday with me."
Yeah.
She's like, "No." He's like, gets all very aggressive.
Yeah.
And then, because this film's all about strong, independent women who won't be a man submissive, Anna runs out of the room crying and gets Christian to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, why not?
Yeah.
She's no one submissive, is old Anna.
Not a soul.
Right, so what are the things you want to touch on, Liam?
Right. At one point, she goes into Christian Grey's childhood bedroom.
Yep.
And there is a very clear, very distinctive poster on the wall for Chronicles of Riddick. Why?
He liked Chronicles of Riddick.
Right, but everything we know about Christian Grey's character does not imply that he's the sort of guy that grew up watching Chronicles of Riddick.
I super love the idea that the whole Christian Grey we've been seeing, like, the first film is him putting forward his dom personality,
Yeah.
right? So you're always only seeing that. In the second film, you think that he's got rid of that and he's now being nice, but clearly he isn't. We see him do a lot of dominating stuff that she's totally into. So, my personal theory is that there is an entire side to Christian Grey that Anna doesn't see, that none of us see, which is him watching Chronicles of Riddick every night because he just loves Vin Diesel.
Okay. So I
imagine he's got a costume that he wears that he's had made that is the Riddick outfit with goggles.
I mean, the thing is, right, someone made that decision to put that poster in such a prominent place. And I want to know, like, the thought process behind that.
I would love it to be in the book. Very specifically, she's like,
could be.
and there's a big Chronicles of Riddick poster on the wall.
But, like, it just... As I was watching it, that entire scene, I was just distracted, being like, why that poster? For, like, it wasn't even a hugely successful film. If it was, like, I don't know, Fight Club, for example, I'd be like, okay, typical.
Cliche.
Yeah, exactly. Standard. Nothing of note there.
Maybe less so when it's coming from a billionaire white guy. I feel like the moral lesson of Fight Club, if a rich white dude has the poster up, you're sort of like, oh, you've missed the point.
What would a poster be that would be like, that's acceptable?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, that would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't get why Chronicles of Riddick.
No, that I will admit that is a fucking weird choice.
Yeah. So there was that. And also, the only redeeming thing about this film, the Taylor Swift and Zayn Malik song.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the name of the song?
I can't remember. I've been listening to her all day and have got me stuck in my head.
It's a good song.
Yes,
I like the bit where they go, "Hey kids, spelling is fun."
Yeah.
That's my favourite bit of that song. Because I used to love spelling as a kid. And having the funness of spelling validated by Taylor Swift, what more could you want, really?
A couple of balls shoved up my ass.
Well, what, by Christian Grey?
No.
It was called I Don't Want to Live Forever.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It is Zayn Malik, isn't it?
I don't know. You keep telling me that, so I've just assumed you're right.
I mean, on Spotify, it's listed as just Zayn. So now I'm
I guess
like,
it's him.
here we go. Yeah, Zayn Malik. I know my One Directioners. Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Liam Payne. I think
Yes,
there's
that's a
another
good
one.
song.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
There we go.
Here's the thing.
Listeners, if you're still playing the game from the beginning of the episode, that was a
We've
definite
reached it.
moment. If you said that sigh
yeah,
was the moment,
Yeah.
I'll give you points.
it's just like the reason why I didn't want to do this
Yep.
is because I didn't think we'd have anything new to say on top of the first film. And then you said, "Oh well, we haven't watched it, so we can't say that." And now that we have watched it, it's still a problematic portrayal of BDSM. It's maybe problematic for different reasons,
Yep.
but it's
Yep.
still problematic, and I still didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, so let's talk about why it's problematic.
But the problem we've reached is I don't care.
I mean, you should care, because if people just sit down and see problematic shit and don't do stuff, that's how you get bad stuff happening.
Yeah, but we've
So-
had bad stuff happen. We've had 50 Shades Darker happen.
Yeah, but we haven't had 50 Shades Freed yet.
It's gonna be just as bad.
What if it isn't? What if that's the best one?
Why don't you watch it and tell me? On a housekeeping.
No, I think next Mother's Day.
I don't think so. I think we find something better to do. I think what we should have done for this Mother's Day is my idea of annoying everyone by doing that Game of Thrones porn parody. Now that would have been good. But no. We've done 50 Shades Darker.
Anyway, this film, Liam,
No dick in it.
no dick, still no dick.
See some man
No
bush.
We didn't think we saw vagina.
No, I'm fairly certain we didn't. But the problem is, I watched this 2 weekends ago now, and
Yeah,
it was so forgettable.
it's a very forgettable film.
Yeah, like I know you definitely see Dakota Johnson naked in it, but I think
Yeah.
she's like sat on his lap in a weird like way, and you don't see like vagina in it.
Yeah. The problem I've got
Yeah.
is I can remember the porn parody better than I can remember this film.
Ah.
So I have to keep referencing the porn parody to remember what happens in this film.
You definitely see dick and vagina in that.
You see a lot of dick and vagina.
Yeah.
This film, so like Liam said, the first film had a problem with portraying BDSM, where it sort of implied this like brokenness to doms, where like they're only doing it because they're fucked up.
He's
and all
50
that.
Shades of fucked up.
Exactly, that's one of the best quotes from the first film. This film does exactly the same bullshit, where like it dives more into Christian Grey's abused past and by dives in, I mean briefly shows a couple of clips and reminds you that it happened. Sort of implies, I mean, it maybe portrays it mildly healthier in the fact if she hadn't been like, I don't want to be your submissive, and instead had been like, look, I think you're doing it wrong. Like, all this film would need to make their portrayal slightly better is, I still want to do BDSM with you, which she clearly does.
Yeah, she
But
does.
I want a milder version, and I want to like be eased into it all. That would have made so much more sense than her saying, I don't want to do it, and then doing a bunch of very mild BDSM.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous, right? Like,
Yeah.
she undermines herself.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's part of it. Is it feels like it's meant to be empowering to her,
It's not.
and I think the film just misses that entirely with all the bullshit of like
But it's
I said,
it's
her running to Christian Grey with every problem. And that's not me belittling. Like, she was about to be sexually abused, and and that is sexual abuse. What that guy was doing.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, yeah, definitely go and get help. It's just the fact that they're trying to set up this like Anna is this strong free, and she kicks him in the balls. So that's she gets out of there. So that's empowered, I guess. But it's the fact that she then runs to Christian Grey and gets him to just deal with the problem, which he does by getting him fired. I thought that was going to be a point. I thought when because he says to her, "Oh, he's no longer working at the company."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, in the first film, she had a massive issue with him meddling in her company. So I was sort of expecting this to be a point where she's like, well, look, that's not the way to deal with that. Like, we should report it to the police and gone through the proper stuff, got him fired that way instead of just sort of underhandedly doing it. But instead, she's just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So it's all just very wrong. But then this film decides to not only besmirch BDSM, but to also throw in some, like, the reverse. Let's hit the mentally ill with a bit of like, oh, when you're crazy, you're just like this weird submissive who wants to kill everyone. That's how mentalness works.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
It's
the portrayal of that ex-submissive is so disgusting.
Yeah, but I mean, I expected nothing less from this film. Like, the first film showed us that E.L. James doesn't understand how BDSM works on a fundamental level. So I'm not surprised she can't get her head around how, like, you know, a mental illness should be portrayed.
I genuinely want to know if anyone's got if anyone out there likes 50 Shades of Grey, or if anyone out there has because I know that that's the whole thing, right? Is everyone's like, oh, 50 Shades of Grey was for mum.
Yeah.
Well, my mum hates 50 Shades of Grey, so I can't ask her because I know she doesn't like it. So I want to hear from someone who has either like a parent or themselves that likes it to just tell me what they are enjoying about these films, because I genuinely want to know, because I can't see it. These films are horribly problematic and bad.
Yeah, like I mean, is it okay? I'm gonna try and play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna imagine I'm a mum.
You're
right?
a mum. You've just got in from work, Liam.
Just got in from work, kicked my shoes off.
Kids are screaming.
Kids are
bloody kids.
They're off playing PlayStation. All my life, you know. Look, here's the thing, right? I grew up. I discovered boys. I liked boys. I liked boys a lot. I had a good time with a fair few boys. Not too many, but a fair few.
Okay.
You know, I used to go out partying, and I'd catch a boy's eye across the dance floor, and I'd boogie on over to him.
Please stop saying boys and start saying men.
I'd flash my knickers, and that was it.
All the boys.
I got all the boys. You know, I was sexually active, let's say.
Okay.
From the ages of like 17 to about, I don't know, 23. No.
So you stopped.
That's too long. About 21. Then.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
4 years.
Yeah, I was sexually active for about 4 years. Then just at the end of uni, I met a boy, sexually active with him. Then he got serious. Got into a relationship with him. Still very sexually active. A couple of years later, we got married. Lots of that night, loads of it. Honeymoon. I couldn't walk straight for all the sex I was having.
Disgusting. Carry on.
Got pregnant, didn't I?
Yep.
Shot a baby out my vagina.
Oh my god, I hate that you're doing this.
It's all gone to shit down there now. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm working on it. My man, he still needs his sex, and I'm giving it to him. I'm not enjoying it as much as I was.
You're a problematic mum.
I'm not enjoying it as much as I was.
That's not the way it works. You're a guy telling this goddamn story, and I hate it so much.
I'm a mum in this story.
I don't think. Ugh.
I've had the sex. I got pregnant a second time. Shot another one out. There's like 2 years between the two of them, and that's it. I'm done with sex now.
Sorry, you said you were sexually active from 17 to 21.
Well, I meant like proper sexually, like really like active, like multiple partners and stuff. Once I got
okay,
yeah, that's what I meant.
Multiple partners,
yeah,
orgies.
Yeah. I loved it.
Okay, wow.
Honestly, Bukake.
And you went from that to only having sex because your man wanted it.
After having a kid, you lose your sexual appetite. I've heard from other mums.
I don't think that's true, but
in this story.
Is that what your mum told you, so you don't have to worry anymore?
This is what the other mums that I hang out with at Mum Club told me when I was talking about how shitty my two kids have been and how my man's keeps wanting it, and I'm done. You know, on his birthday, I used to give him a little anal treat. Not anymore. That's just for me now. So, right, okay, I've stopped having the sex. Right, I've got two kids.
Okay.
They've grown up. They're like teenagers now. Okay, still living at home. They're not old enough to move out yet, but whatever. Sex is a distant memory. My man's got busy with work and stuff. Neither of us are really in the mood for sex anymore. I have given up with it. He might be having an affair for all I know. I don't care.
Jesus Christ.
Don't care. As long as he keeps paying the bills, fine. Then this little book comes along. 50 Shades of Grey. What's this about? Been ages since my orgy days. I read it. BDSM. Never heard of it. What's that about?
Yeah.
Oh, this is.
You had orgies in uni, but you'd never heard of BDSM.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, this is interesting. Bondage. Yeah. All right, that could be fun. Yeah. Dominating. Yeah.
Sorry, do you not know the word dominating?
Not as a mum, no. I'm like, oh, what's that in the bedroom?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, I could be a little submissive. I think I'd enjoy that. Sadomasochism. Give that a go. Handcuffs. Never use those. And suddenly, like, my little world of just not having any sex and just like this grey, dreary, miserable life has just been expanded into this firework kaleidoscope of colour and experience. And
how many shades of grey was your life, Liam?
It's at least 50.
Oh.
And now, right?
Now it's 50 shades darker.
Now I go to bed and I just diddle myself silly over this book.
Jesus Christ. Okay, and you made. I mean, it was already disgusting, but you managed to get more disgusting. Okay.
Is that why it's popular? I don't know. That's just an experience of one mother that I made up. It might be problematic.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It doesn't interest me at all, that life that she lives.
Who, Anna or the mother that I just made up?
Either.
Yeah.
Either,
Yeah.
Liam. I don't want to live either of their lives.
No.
So I just don't get it at all. Because...
But genuinely, right? Is it like to kind of to some mothers? Is this like really out there and just like, oh, I didn't even know this sort of thing existed, and is that the appeal? Because for guys, right, it's almost stereotypically expected that guys watch porn. Whereas, like, I totally think women should watch porn, and there should be a discourse around that it shouldn't be like this thing that women are made to feel ashamed of or weird about or whatever. But it feels like I remember when this book was getting popularity. For me, I was like, it's so good that women are using this as a way to talk about like that sort of thing that is typically kind of left to like a male arena to discuss that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. Fuck that.
You know, but that's how it seems in the media.
If you've got a mum out there who likes 50 Shades of Grey and you suspect that anything that Liam just said might be why she likes it, go and have a serious conversation with her and say, look, mum, find something healthy. Go watch some porn. Find a porn you like. You don't have to find some feminist friendly porn. Like, I mean, that exists.
This is not a discussion I want to have with my mum.
Well, you should, Liam. We should all be more open about this kind of thing.
I'm not going to tell my mum to go and watch porn.
I'll tell your mum to watch porn.
That's not a discussion I want to be part of.
No, I want you in the room.
No. Like, I think, like I said, I could be way off. Like, all mums could be, like, absolutely loving sex and porn and stuff. But the impression I get is that they're not really speaking about it a lot.
But then that's the thing. That's the issue then, is I don't think that this is a good solution to that problem. Like, I think, if anything, this is just making it worse. Because it portrays it in such an unhealthy way.
Like, I really hoped when this came out, this was opening that door and we were going to get more of this, but healthier, which has not happened. It feels like now, sort of, that generation of women, I don't see them talking about this sort of thing anymore. No.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just such shit. Go listen. If you're out there and you're thinking like, oh, I don't like porn, go listen to a podcast called Girls on Porn on the HeadGum Network, where two women go and watch porn, and they watch from a bunch of different genres, and they watch one that's like the mainstream version, and they find a female friendly version, like a feminist version, where that isn't like basically the actresses have been paid properly, and it's all definitely consensual, and there's no like, do they really want to do this?
Yeah, like, she's got that honestly, dead behind the eyes.
It's one of my favourite podcasts at the moment. It's fascinating, and it's really good, and it's just a healthy way to talk about this kind of stuff, and to be like, like women watch porn too.
I think like our generation, women are open about that. It's just like the generation or a couple of generations before us, I feel like there's less of a willingness to... I mean, you think, like, growing up, before we had the internet, the kind of, like, porn was essentially magazines and stuff, right? Or, like, videotapes. Yeah. And there was always the, like, rumour of, like, finding porn in the bushes or whatever, and that would be, like, it would always be a boy thing. You'd never hear, like, girls being like, oh, went down to the woods today and found some porn. And I wonder if, like, now with the internet and, like, the accessibility and people becoming more open and discussing it, like, our generation of females are more happy to discuss it, but for some reason, our parents less so.
That might be true, but even then, I think 50 Shades of Grey is not the solution to that problem.
No, definitely not. I don't know why this film exists, or these books.
No, it shouldn't.
And I don't know why they're as popular as they were.
It's abysmal. It's honestly abysmal, and this shit should not exist.
They should read Sunstone.
Oh my god, they should read Sunstone.
Yeah.
It's such a good story.
Such a healthy representation of BDSM.
Yep.
Like, I watched this and was like, I don't get BDSM. And then I read Sunstone and was like, oh, I get it. Like, it maybe isn't for me, but I get it.
I think that's the one good thing that 50 Shades of Grey has done for me, is because of that, you suggested Sunstone.
Yeah.
And I love that series so much. So, fuck you, 50 Shades of Grey. Everyone go listen to our episode about Sunstone, read Sunstone, and the new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
And then just pretend 50 Shades of Grey doesn't exist and don't read it. Maybe that's what we'll do next time, Liam. We'll do a whole episode where we try and get mums to watch porn.
I mean, if you think your mum would be up for that, then sure. But
no,
I can tell you now.
I did not say let's try and get our mums to watch porn.
No, just yours. Just yours.
No.
I'll watch it with her.
I'm going to email your mum.
But here's some porn recommendations for you.
Who are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to score it?
Yeah. What do you give it?
1 out of 5 because I really like the song.
Yeah, same. That's like the lowest I can give it.
You could give it 0.5 or 0.
Oh, then it's a 0.5.
For me, like 0.5 is something that I like actively despise, and this I don't actively despise. I just don't like it.
I do. I think it's harmful.
Like
So I actively despise it.
0.5 to me is like Fantasia, which is like the audacity that film has to even call itself a film when it's just a series of music videos strung together. Fuck that film. I don't
Are you
feel.
pissing off all the Fantasia fans?
I don't give a fuck. I know a lot of people love Fantasia, and I don't know why.
It's really boring.
Yeah, it's really boring. It's not a film.
I watched it as a kid and hated it.
Same. And I tried to watch it again, at uni, to be like, oh, was I just a dumb, sort of ignorant kid? Nah.
And you went, well, I was, but still, this film's shit.
Yeah, it really is. And I've got a Disney box set that at some point I want to work my way through, and Fantasia's in that. And they did a sequel called Fantasia 2000.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the film. I remember it being a thing.
Yeah.
I think this film does fall into that category. This film shouldn't have the audacity to exist. This is just a terrible, terrible... Someone's shit fan fiction. Oh, that's a point that I wanted to make. There is a scene in this film that is such bullshit. It's the fucking author. I can only assume it's in the book as well, because otherwise it makes no sense being put in the film. There's a whole bit where Anastasia is sitting and she gets put in this meeting because her boss has been fucking fired for some unknown reason. So she sits in on this meeting. This guy's like, oh yeah, you should sit in. You're basically going to do his job anyway. And then they're talking about, oh, who do we get? Who do we get? We need to publish some more books. Because I don't know if that's how book publishing works, but sure, fuck it, probably. And then her suggestion is, why don't we get this person who's an internet author? And then everyone's like...
Does she actually say that? I can't remember.
Yes, it's someone that has been writing stories online.
I know they say clicks don't necessarily represent sales, but I just thought it meant that like it was a person that had online buzz, not that they exclusively wrote online.
I don't know if it's exclusively online, but that is what she says. It's someone that's been writing online.
Yeah.
And then she's like, we should get them. And everyone's like, that's crazy. That won't work. And she's like, oh, will it? And then they're all like, okay, we trust you. And it's such bullshit, like, grandstanding. Yeah. Because it's her being like, oh, yeah, this is what I've done. Look at me. This works for everyone. And yes, if you're a writer, 100% that's the goal. But you know what? A publishing house isn't going to just pick you up because you did well online. And when they do, you get shit like 50 Shades of Grey. You're going to have to work to get to be a real writer and get your books published. And don't listen to 50 Shades of Grey telling you that it's just if you do well enough online, some publishing house will pick you up. She got fucking lucky, and they should have read the book and been like, you know what? Fuck making this into a film or publishing it. This is Twilight fan fiction gone wrong. I'm genuinely getting more and more annoyed the more I talk about 50 Shades Darker.
I have some issues with what you've just said, though.
Go on.
Well, you kind of implied that she's not a real writer.
No. I'm saying that you don't just get this shit handed to you, which is what I think that's how it feels to me, is that someone said, oh, look, she's written this stuff online, we should get her and publish the book, right?
Yeah.
I think what she's doing is unhelpfully being like, that happens. That's the thing.
But is that what happened to her?
I don't know for certain, but that's what this is saying.
Yeah.
Is you can just get lucky. And sure, maybe there's this chance that you will, but I don't think it's healthy to say to people, just sit back and hope.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get that message from this film, but like that whole scene, I just thought...
It's not from the film, it's that one scene. It's a very self-aggrandizing scene.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. There was another scene that really felt like Twilight fanfiction, where I think like he's talking about how dangerous he is or some bullshit like that, and...
Oh, yeah.
It really... I was just like, oh, this is really where you can be like, that's Edward Cullen there. Sort of.
Some of the scenes do feel like she just literally went through and changed the names.
Yeah, which I think is probably accurate, to be honest.
Yeah. But
what I'd love to know is how did she get this book published? Like, who read the Twilight fanfiction and went, there's a book here, if we just change the names, we've got a good book here. Yeah. Like, I would love to know the story behind that. I think that'd be way more interesting than the actual book itself.
Even then, I think it would just make me annoyed.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, don't watch this fucking film.
Yeah, but you want to watch 50 Shades Freed?
Yes, because we've done 2 now, so fuck it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a good reason to do it.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
He just doesn't want to do it.
The thing is, you know what I'm like, and I'm a completionist, so I probably will get around to watching it at some point. I just don't want to dedicate, like, an entire culture swap to us having to discuss it, because I don't think the film merits our level of attention to it.
What if I'll make a deal with you? I'll watch the film, right? And if I genuinely believe, and you know that unlike you, I won't just manipulatively say, well, we're going to do it.
I mean, that sounds
I
mean.
will genuinely. I will watch. Well, it is mean. I said I'm not manipulative. I didn't say I wasn't a bitch.
That's true, yeah.
I'll watch the film, and if I genuinely think there is a culture swap that we could do in it with enough stuff to talk about, I'll come back and I'll say, right, we'll do it next Mother's Day. If I think it's just more of the same, so if there's nothing new, it's just all the same bullshit, I'll say, yep, cool, we'll housekeeping it. I'll housekeeping it.
Yeah, I mean, I will get around to it at some point, but yeah.
Does that sound like a deal?
Yeah, we can give that a go.
If it is genuinely different, I think we should do it.
Yeah, I doubt it will be.
Exactly.
But I think that's the thing. I don't want us to have to do, like, what, this has probably been half an hour long at least, culture swap, discussing this film. I don't think this film deserves half an hour of two people discussing it.
No, it probably doesn't. But if the third one does, we will do it. I will report back at some point.
I think the thing that also annoys me is we did Before Sunrise, like, fucking ages ago, and we've still not done Before Sunset. And that would be...
that wasn't for Mother's Day.
It wasn't for anything. We just did it, and we haven't done the sequel. And I'm like, well... If we can't do that sequel, why are we wasting our time doing this one?
It's funnier. Before Sunset will just be you being like, what a beautiful film, and me being like, I don't get it.
You might get it.
I won't.
It's because it's all about love and stuff, and you don't have any of that.
You can tweet us at Nerd on Nerd. You can email us.
Nerdonnerdpod.
At nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. Facebook at facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod, all one word.
YouTube us.
Go on YouTube. Follow us. Subscribe on YouTube. Liam posts our broken up episodes and full episodes as well on YouTube. So if you just want to listen to like housekeeping segments or whatever, you can do that on the YouTube. We're on Spotify. Listen to us there. Rate us on iTunes. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Liam?
Yeah. Next time we are joined by a very special guest.
Son of a bitch. He's right.
Yeah. We're joined by Becky Darke, who co-hosts the Don't Point That Horror at Me podcast.
A podcast dedicated to reading all of the point horrors, as Liam is currently doing.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to any of their stuff yet, but I would highly recommend it. I mean, each of their episodes is basically a deep dive into a point horror book, which is what we're doing for a side project that's going to go exclusively on YouTube. I think they've been doing it about as long as I've been reading point horror as well.
Oh,
so they've only they're 5 episodes in at this point, and we're about to record our 5th episode on that as well. So similar level. It's hosted by Becky Darke and Lip Gloss Jill, I believe her name is. And they deep dive into it. One of them will cover like the sort of #1 music hits of the era when that book came out. Another one will do the films that came out that were like top at the box office. And it is just them basically like what we're doing, where they have this like deep nostalgia for point horror books and they're reading it.
Yeah, just like what we're doing.
Well,
I've never read a point horror book.
I'm doing,
right,
but I'm dragging you along with it. They're like a deep nostalgia for it, but also are reading it with like 2019 eyes, where they're calling out the very problematic things like how mental health is handled and all this sort of thing. It's a really good podcast. Would definitely recommend it. It's really fun to listen to. We're having Becky join us next time to discuss The Omen from 1976, the original one, which I think we've both seen before.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an alright film. I'm curious to see why Becky's chosen it.
Yeah.
We'll find out next time.
We will. Bye.
Bye.